Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really fundamental if you're using large language models, LLMs.
Yeah, it's something that can make a huge difference.
Exactly. If you've ever felt like, the answers you get aren't quite right or just not what you pictured, this deep dive is definitely for you. We're talking about taking control, specifically controlling what we call the boundary message.
Which is really just the output, what
Right.
the LLM gives back to you.
Right. And our mission today is to unpack how you can guide that, shape that output, and make these LLMs a way more precise tools for whatever you need them for.
Should be interesting.
Okay, let's dive in. So first things first, let's just make sure we're on the same page. What exactly is this boundary message, the output, and why is getting a handle on it so important?
Well, at its simplest, the output is just, the information or the response the LLM generates after you give it some input. It's the final product, basically.
Okay, seems straightforward enough.
Yeah, but the critical part is how it shapes the whole interaction. Think about it like this.
Yeah.
When you clearly define what you want in that boundary message, you're not just asking a question.
You're giving instructions.
Exactly. You're giving it a really specific set of instructions for how to build its answer. And that guidance, that's what pushes it towards responses that aren't just, accurate and relevant generally.
But right for your context.
Precisely. Aligned with what you actually intend to use it for. If you don't provide that specificity, well, you're kind of leaving a lot up to the model's interpretation, which could be hit or miss.
Right. So it's less like shouting into the void and hoping for the best, and more like having a real focused conversation. And for you listening, this really means moving beyond just settling for an answer. It's about making sure the LLM gives you exactly what you need. It turns it from just a general tool into like a personalized assistant.
Yeah.
And that shift, from just hoping you get something useful to actually directing it to be useful. That seems like the real power here.
It really is.
I mean, imagine you're, say, a marketing manager, right? You need ad copy. If you just ask for ad copy, you might get back this long, poetic thing when all you really wanted was, like, 3 punchy headlines.
Or the flip side, maybe you're a developer and you need a very specific JSON structure for an API.
Yeah.
If the LLM just gives you a paragraph describing the data instead of the actual structured JSON, well, that's not very helpful, is it?
Not at all. Wastes time.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how this control over the output fundamentally changes the whole utility of the LLM. It's about being intentional.
Intentionality in design.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether you're using it for, creative writing or detailed data analysis or just finding a specific piece of information, your ability to specify the output you want makes the LLM more than just a chatbot.
It becomes sort of an extension of your own process.
Yeah, exactly. A collaborator that gets not just what you're asking, but how you need the answer presented.
That's a great way to put it, moving from a general tool to a custom-tailored assistant. I like that. Okay, so once we understand we can shape the output, the next obvious question, I think, for a lot of people is about length. How much can we control that? Can you actually tell an LLM, write me a 5,000-word magazine article, or is it just give me a short slogan?
Well, you actually have quite a bit of flexibility there. You can definitely guide both the length and the overall style.
So the magazine article versus the slogan is possible.
Oh, yeah. If you need something extensive like a story for publication, with proper paragraphs, a certain narrative flow, a specific tone, you can prompt for that.
Okay.
And conversely, if you just need that short, punchy marketing slogan for your product, you can guide it towards being really brief and snappy. The models are generally designed to respond to those kinds of instructions about scale and scope.
That sounds pretty powerful. Lots of creative control. But I remember reading something interesting about this, about the exact word count.
Oh, right. Yeah.
While you have flexibility, getting it to hit a precise number, like exactly 100 words, isn't always guaranteed, is it?
That's a really key point, a bit of nuance there. And it comes down to how these LLMs actually work under the hood.
Okay.
They don't generate text by, counting words ahead of time. They work sequentially. They predict the next most probable word based on everything that came before your prompt and the text it's already generated.
So it's predicting word by word.
Exactly. So if you ask for, say, a 100-word paragraph, it might give you 95 words, or maybe 105. It's aiming for the target, but the process itself means it might not land precisely on that number every single time.
Right.
It's a bit like
Yeah.
like asking a really creative chef to make a dish with exactly 7 different vegetables.
Okay, I like that analogy.
You'll probably get a fantastic dish, and it'll likely have around 7 vegetables.
Yeah.
But maybe they add a tiny bit of garnish that makes it 8, or they blend 2 into a sauce so it feels like 6. The core idea is there, but that exact count can be a little fluid.
That makes sense. The source material even mentions something like, let's count the number of words as a way to show this variability, right?
Precisely. It highlights that it's probabilistic, not deterministic, when it comes to exact length.
Okay, so that chef analogy really helps visualize it, but what does that mean practically? Say, if you're a copywriter and you have really strict character limits for an ad or something, are there ways around this? Or do we just have to accept a bit of fuzziness?
It's a bit of both, really, but you're not totally powerless. While getting that perfect word count with just a simple prompt command is tricky,
Yeah.
you can still strongly influence the amount of text it generates by tweaking some of the model's more advanced settings. These are often called hyperparameters.
Okay. So not in the prompt itself, but deeper settings.
Right. Things that adjust how the model weighs, say, brevity versus being more detailed.
Yeah.
We probably won't get into the technical weeds on those today. That's maybe a topic for another time.
Yeah.
But it's good to know those controls exist. They let you kind of nudge the model closer to the length you want, even if it takes a bit of experimenting.
Gotcha.
So think of it more as guiding the tendency towards a certain length rather than dictating an absolute fixed number.
Okay, so guidance, not absolute dictation. Setting a strong expectation, but knowing there are deeper levers if you really need to fine-tune it later.
Yeah.
That feels like a really practical takeaway for anyone using these professionally.
Exactly. Managing expectations while knowing you still have influence.
All right, that covers length pretty well.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about how much text we get, but what about how it's organized? Can we ask for more than just, a block of free-form text? Can we get structured information, like, say, a list or a table?
Oh, absolutely. And this, I think, is where guiding the boundary message gets incredibly powerful for real-world applications.
How so?
You can explicitly tell an LLM to generate its output in specific, often machine-readable formats. Things like JSON.
Which is super common for web stuff, data exchange.
Exactly. Or you can ask for structured tables, maybe even CSV files, comma-separated values, which are perfect for dropping straight into spreadsheets or databases.
Wow, okay.
This capability is honestly a game changer for so many workflows. It saves so much manual effort.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine you're trying to pull out, say, key financial figures from a bunch of long annual reports, instead of the LLM just writing a paragraph describing the revenue and profit.
Which you'd then have to read and pull the numbers from.
Right. You could instruct it to output that data directly into a clean table format, columns for year, revenue, profit, etc., ready to be copied and pasted or even directly imported into Excel or Google Sheets.
That saves a ton of time.
Or maybe you're building a website, a content management system. You need metadata for articles, author, date, tags, formatted as JSON to feed into your database.
You can just ask the LLM for the JSON output directly.
Yep, tell it the structure you need. This bypasses just an incredible amount of manual data entry, copying, pasting, reformatting. It streamlines things massively for developers, data analysts, researchers, you name it.
It really moves it from just giving you information about the data to giving you the data itself in a ready-to-use format.
Precisely. Actionable data, not just descriptive text.
That is incredibly useful for efficiency.
Okay.
Okay, but now this next bit, this detail from the source material we looked at, this kind of blew my mind a little.
Which part?
It goes even further than just generating data in a table format within the text response. The source actually suggests trying this exercise. Use LLM to generate an Excel file itself instead of asking it to generate the output in table form.
Yes. That is a really significant point.
Right, generating the actual .xlsx file.
Yeah, and it's significant because it really hints at how fast these capabilities are evolving, if you think about the bigger picture.
What does it suggest?
It suggests that these models are potentially moving beyond just processing and generating language. They might be becoming capable of direct file creation based on structured instructions.
So not just text representing a table, but the actual spreadsheet file.
Potentially, yes. The implication is pretty profound. Instead of you copying text out of the LLM chat window and manually pasting it into a new Excel sheet.
Which is still a manual step.
Right. The LLM could, maybe, generate that .xlsx file directly, ready for you to just download and use immediately.
Wow.
That's not just generating text about data or even structuring data as text. It's actually creating the functional structured file itself.
That feels like a major leap
It really does. It points towards the future where an LLM could be a much more integrated part of your actual data pipeline. Automating tasks that right now take multiple steps, maybe different software tools entirely, is moving towards direct action, not just informational responses.
The idea of an LLM generating an actual Excel file, I mean, that fundamentally changes the automation possibilities, doesn't it? What does that even mean for how we design workflows going forward? It feels almost like the LLM becomes an agent doing tasks, not just answering questions.
It certainly blurs the lines in a very interesting way.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. What does this all mean for you, our listener, trying to make sense of this fast-moving field?
Yeah, what's the key takeaway?
Well, we've definitely seen the power of deliberately shaping that boundary message to get precise LLM interactions. We've understood the flexibility you have with output length, but also that little nuance about exact word counts.
Right, the guidance versus dictation idea.
Exactly. And then this really exciting capability to demand specific structured formats like JSON, tables, and maybe, just maybe, even things like an Excel file directly.
And I think that last point, the structured output and potential file generation,
Uh,
really ties that all together beautifully, doesn't it? Well, just consider how knowing you have these controls truly empowers you. It shifts the whole dynamic. It's not just about passively asking a question and getting whatever the LLM spits out.
it's about being the director.
Exactly. It's about precisely defining the exact answer you need, right down to its structure, its format, maybe even its file type in the future. So the question for you, the listener, becomes, what new possibilities does that open up
Right.
in your own work or just in your own curiosity and exploration when you realize you can ask an LLM not just to tell you something, but potentially to build it for you in a specific, actionable, ready-to-use format?
That's a completely different level of
It
interaction.
really is. It's a whole new level of intelligent collaboration. And the exciting part is much of this control, especially around structured text output, is already here. It's within reach right now. Something to really think about and experiment with.